But tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. Okay. Tonight's show, Trust Fall, is where we're going to have some of our players and students fall, if you may, into your trusting hands so that you can catch them with your applause and support. They're going to take some risks, and it should be pretty interesting. We might see some improv, we might see some sketch, some stand-up, some experimental stuff, some musical stuff. So, who knows? We'll just have to see now, won't we? Okay? Yeah. We're going to get started here right away with our first act. Hailing from New York City. Yeah. Okay. Let's give it up for Jam.
From nothing, I'm given a task to create some improv real fast debut. The stage is set, and I break out in a cold sweat, cook you up if you try to come raw. I'm from New York, this ain't Florida law. Dust you off if you step in front of me. Brothers try to be the one, there's only one of me. College dropout Kanye thinks he's schooling. Tries to object, but like a judge I'm overruling. If he thinks he can hang with a threat, he needs to go back to school. He ain't ready for this yet. I'm majestic, time to get tested. Take the stage with my button-down vest and start going. About to unfold, I'm pretty confident this will be solid gold. All right, calm down there. I might not even be any good, okay? You're out there clapping your ass off, I might not even be funny. You're like, this motherfucker's not even funny, what am I clapping for? As I said, my name is Jam. Thank you to my alter ego, the host, Joselito, for introducing me. And I do like to wear a button-down vest, but a little bit on that later. The name Jam actually comes from, I was telling somebody the story earlier, comes from my wife. She gave me that name because she felt that Joselito Antonio Marquez was just too long, so she just gave me the initials. She didn't like Joselito, and she doesn't even actually call me Jam, so I'm not even sure why she gave me the name. It's interesting, though, because it's true. I introduce myself as Joselito in certain circles, and people have trouble pronouncing the name, and they don't remember it. So I've been going with Jam. I'll go to a club, and someone will be like, hey, yeah, Jam? Is it because you like to, hit the wheels of steel and DJ? No, I don't DJ. Not musically inclined. I'll go play basketball. You throw it down, right, Jam? No, I have a 2-inch vertical. So I'm not getting anywhere near that rate, okay? I'm closing in on 50 years old. There is no way I'm going to try to touch that rim. And my daughter, who is a young adult, when she heard about the nickname, she said, Dad, you know how teenagers are and young adults are. Well, actually, once a child hits the age of 10, they probably start getting embarrassed by their parents not thinking that they're cool. She said, Father, because that's how she refers to me, Father, do not use that name around me. And I knew the name stopped being cool when she started making fun of it. Peanut butter jelly jam! That's pretty much it. So this is the first time I've actually used it in quite a long time. And if she were here, she would probably be in the back laughing at me right now. So the button-down vest, you like my vest? Yeah. Classy. Thank you. Classy. Yes. Yeah. The button-down vest is the one accessory that every man should have in his closet. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. Okay, I'm not kidding. I got one. All right. Good. You should have one because this thing is. You have two. Yeah. We'll have to see each other after the. I have to swap. Barter. The vest is the one piece of article of clothing that a man can use in any arena. He can go hang out with his friends, wear a vest with a t-shirt, some jeans and sneakers. He looks like a gang member. It's like, what's up? He looks cool. He could go on a date, put a button-down shirt underneath, go out with the girl, or the guy. This is 2016, we never know. And, he might get to second base because he looks so stylish. You never know. In a corporate setting, business setting, throw this on with some slacks and a tie, and you don't look like a stuffy person with a suit on, but you still look like you're ready for business. And you stand out, from someone who's just wearing a shirt and tie. You have the vest,
Anyone here work in corporate world, business?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for coming out on your day off, I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's your day off, okay? That sun to sun weekday job, okay? It's funny because in the corporate world, it's very different from, show business. Show business, it's the only business I know of, maybe there are others, or the entertainment business in general, because it could be music also, where you are either paid or applauded to be inappropriate, to be sexually deviant, to say whatever the fuck you want to say, and it makes you more popular. Not in the corporate world, though. In the corporate world, watch out for HR. You're inappropriate. Okay, you are either going to get put on a performance review, you're going to get terminated, or even worse, arrested for sexual assault or something like that. So it's very different in the corporate world. But I shouldn't knock HR because I was part of HR at some point in my life, and I took HR with pride. Because you have new employees coming in, and it's like you're the face of that company. You're the one who's kind of guide them, on the right path. Imagine if, you didn't really care, and this person would come in and they didn't get any training, any kind of manual or coaching, and they were just left to their own devices. What would that look like? Let's take a look. Good morning. Hello, Smithers. Welcome to our nuclear plant. Just make sure that you don't, leave before 5 p.m. And good luck. Okay. Forward to the end of the day. Smithers, have a seat here on this curb. I'm sorry we can't meet in my office because the nuclear plant burnt down. So this exit interview, if you had to pick one thing that probably, you would have done differently, what would that have been? I probably wouldn't have taken this job knowing that I wasn't qualified. Yeah, that's my bad. What would you actually, let's do a poll. What would you actually prefer? To get into a job where you get no kind of training, no information or whatsoever, or would you prefer that you go into a job and you get way too much information? Like, they give you this thick manual, but you're well informed. How many of those people here would be the one who would prefer to be well informed? Wow. I see less rather than more. That is very interesting. So you would prefer to be clueless and burn down that nuclear plant and risk that. Yeah, let's burn down that nuclear plant.
More interesting. No regulation.
So I guess there is a thing as too much information. But how much information would deter you from staying at that job? Let's see that. Those are the offices, and these are the cubicles. That's my cubicle there. This is your cubicle. This is your phone. Never answer your phone. Let the voicemail system answer it. There are no personal phone calls allowed. We do, however, allow for emergencies. If you must make an emergency phone call, ask your supervisor. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spires, who sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa Nix, who sits over there. If you make an emergency phone call without asking, you may be let go. These are your in and out boxes. All the forms in your inbox must be logged in by the date shown in the upper left-hand corner, initialed by you in the upper right-hand corner, and logged in to the processing analyst whose name is numerically coded in the lower left-hand corner. Lower right-hand corner is left blank. You must pace your work. What do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. You must pace your work according to the 8-hour workday. If you have 12 hours of work in your inbox, for example, you must compress that work into the 8-hour day. If you have 1 hour of work in your inbox, you must expand that work to fill the 8-hour day. That was a good question. Feel free to ask questions. Ask too many questions, however, and you may be let go. That is the receptionist. She's a temp. We go through receptionists here with alarming frequency. Be kind and polite to the receptionist. Take them out to lunch occasionally, but don't get too close to them, as it only makes it that much more difficult when they leave. And they always leave. You can be sure of that. The men's room is over there. The women's room is over there. Excuse me. Oh, John LaFontaine, who sits over there, he uses the women's room occasionally. He says it is accidental. We know better, but we let it pass. John LaFontaine is harmless. His foray into the forbidden territory of the women's room, simply a benign thrill. A faint blip on the dull flat line of his life.
Oh my God.
Russell Nash, who sits in the cubicle to your left, is in love with Amanda Pierce, who sits in the cubicle to your right. They ride the same bus together after work. For Amanda Pierce, it is just a tedious bus ride, made less tedious by the idle natterings of Russell Nash. But for Russell Nash, it is the highlight of his day. It is the highlight of his life. Russell Nash has put on 40 pounds and grows fatter with each passing month, nibbling on chips and cookies while peeking glumly over the partitions at Amanda Pierce, and gorging himself at home on cold pizza and ice cream while watching adult videos on TV. Amanda Pierce, in the cubicle to your right, has a 6-year-old son named Jamie. He's autistic. Her cubicle is plastered from top to bottom with the boy's crayon artwork, sheet after sheet of precisely drawn eccentric circles and ellipses in black and yellow. She rotates them every other Friday. Be sure to comment on them. Amanda Pierce also has a husband who is a lawyer. He subjects her to an escalating array of painful and humiliating sex games to which Amanda Pierce reluctantly submits. She comes to work every morning, exhausted and freshly wounded from the bruises on her breasts, the abrasions on her abdomen, or the second-degree burns on the backs of her thighs. We're not supposed to know any of this, so don't let on. If you let on, you may be let go. Anika Bloom sits in that cubicle over there. Last year, while reviewing quarterly reports in a meeting with Barry Hacker, Anika Bloom's left palm began to bleed. She fell into a trance, stared into her hand, and told Barry Hacker when and how his wife would die. We laughed it off. She was, after all, a new employee. But Barry Hacker's wife is now dead. So, unless you want to know exactly when and how you'll die, never talk to Anika Bloom. Colin Heavey sits at that cubicle over there. He was new once, just like you. We warned him about Anika Bloom, but at last year's Christmas potluck, he felt sorry for her when he saw no one was talking to her. Colin Heavey brought her a drink. He hasn't been himself since. Colin Heavey is doomed. There's nothing he can do about it, and we are powerless to help him. Stay away from Colin Heavey. Never give any of your work to him. If he asks you to do work, tell him you have to ask me. If he asks again, tell him that I haven't gotten back to you. This is our fire exit. There are several on this floor, and they're marked accordingly. We have a floor evacuation review every 3 months and an escape route quiz once a month. We have our biannual fire drill twice a year and our annual earthquake drill once a year. These are precautions only. These things never happen. Oh, for your information, we have a comprehensive health plan. Any catastrophic illness, any unforeseen tragedy is completely covered. All dependents are completely covered. Oh, Larry Bagdickian, who sits over there, has 6 daughters. If anything were to happen to any of his girls, or to all of them, if all 6 were to suddenly fall victim to illness or injury, stricken with a hideous degenerative disease or some muscular disorder, sprayed with semi-automatic gunfire while on a class field trip, or abducted from their bunk beds by some prowling nocturnal lunatic, if any of this were to pass, Larry's girls would all be taken care of. Larry Bagdickian would not have to pay 1 dime. He would have nothing to worry about. We also have a generous vacation and sick leave policy. We have an excellent disability insurance plan. We have a stable and profitable pension fund. We get group discounts at the Symphony. We get block seating at the ballpark. We are all members of Costco. This is our kitchenette. And this is our Mr. Coffee. We have a coffee pool to which we each pay $2 a week for coffee filters, sugar, and coffee meat. If you prefer cremora, or half and half, we have a coffee pool for $3 a week. If you prefer sweet and low to sugar, there's a special coffee pool for $2.50 a week. We don't do decaf. You're allowed to join the coffee pool of your choice, but are not allowed to touch the Mr. Coffee. This is our microwave oven. You are allowed to heat food in the microwave oven. You are not, however, allowed to cook food in the microwave oven. This is our refrigerator. You may put your lunch in it. Oh, Barry Hacker, who sits over there, steals food from this refrigerator. His petty theft is an outlet for his grief. Last New Year's, while kissing his wife, a blood vessel burst in her brain. Barry Hacker's wife was 2 months pregnant at the time and lingered in a coma for 6 months before she passed away. It was a tragic loss for Barry Hacker. He hasn't been himself since. Barry Hacker's wife was a beautiful woman. She was also completely covered. Barry Hacker did not have to pay one dime. But his dead wife haunts him. She haunts all of us. We have seen her reflected in the monitors of our computers, moving past our cubicles. We have seen her dim shadow in our photocopies. She pencils herself in the receptionist's appointment book with the notation to see Barry Hacker. She leaves messages in the receptionist's voicemail box, messages garbled by the electronic chirps and buzzes in the phone line. Her voice echoing in the distant ambient hum, but the voice is hers. And beneath the voice, beneath the tidal whoosh of static and hiss, the crying and gurgling of a baby can be heard. In any case, if you bring a lunch in, put a little something extra in the bag for Barry Hacker. We have 4 Barrys in this office. Isn't that a coincidence? Oh, this is Matthew Payne's office. He is our unit manager, and his door is always closed. We have never seen him, and you will never see him. But he is in there. He is all around us. Oh, this is the custodian's closet. You have no business in the custodian's closet. Gwendolyn Stitch sits in that office over there. She's crazy about penguins and collects penguin knickknacks, coffee mugs, sweaters, and hats. She has personalized license plates that read Penguin. But Gwendolyn Stitch's door is always open to us. She will always lend a hand or a shoulder to cry on. We'll give you the shirt off her back. She brings Danish on Wednesdays for hump day afternoon break and donuts on Friday for TGIF afternoon break. Because her door is always open, she hides and cries in a stall in the women's room. And John LaFontaine, who enthralled when a woman enters, hides in his stall with his knees to his chest. We have come upon Gwendolyn Stitch huddled in the stairwell, shivering in the updraft, sipping a Diet Mr. Pibb and hugging her knees. She does not let any of this interfere with her work, however. If it interfered with her work, she might have to be let go. Kevin Howard sits in that cubicle over there. He's a serial killer. The one they call the carpet cutter, responsible for all the mutilations across town. Don't worry. His compulsion inflicts itself on strangers only, and the carnage inflicted is unwavering. The victim must be a young white male, adult, heavyset, dark hair, eyes. The victim must be chosen at random from a public place before sunset. The victim is followed home and must put up a struggle. The carnage inflicted is precise. The direction and angle of the incisions, the layering of skin and muscle tissue, the rearrangement of visceral organs, and so on. Kevin Howard does not let any of this interfere with his work. He is, in fact, our fastest typist. He types as if he were on fire. He also has a secret crush on Gwendolyn Stitch and leaves a red foil-wrapped Hershey's Kiss on her desk every afternoon. In any case, when Kevin Howard gets caught, and he will get caught, act surprised. Say that he seemed like a nice person, a bit of a loner perhaps, but always quiet and polite. This is our photocopier room, and this is our view. It faces southwest. West is down there toward the water. North is back there. Because we're on the 17th floor, we are afforded a magnificent view. Isn't it beautiful? It overlooks the park where those treetops are. You can see a segment of the bay between those 2 buildings over there. You can see the sunset and the gap between those 2 buildings over there. You can see this building reflected in the glass panels of that building across the way. There, see? That's you waving. Oh, look, there is Anika Bloom in the kitchenette waving back. Enjoy this view while photocopying. If you have problems with the photocopier, see Russell Nash. If you have any questions, ask your supervisor. If you can't find your supervisor, ask Philip Spires, who sits over there. He'll check with Clarissa Nix, who sits over there. If you can't find any of them, feel free to ask me. That's my cubicle. I sit there. Good luck.
Thank you, Jam. You're going to miss your bus back to New York. All right, look, that was the opening act, warming you up. So it's going to get better from this point on.